Governor Herbert. Well, thank you, Chet, and I'll be mercifully brief. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here and see the movers and shakers in our business community, our technology council, and thanks for all that you do to make Utah such a great state. The innovation that you bring forward, the creative ways you do things are something that we in the elected world as politicians ought to take a page out of your book and find better ways to do things and get things accomplished. I actually tried to do that. Chet's talking about what have I been working on the last few days. You might have heard a little thing about our national parks here in Utah and Lake Powell and a few things. But with a little ingenuity, a little creativity, and actually a willingness to sit down and talk with people, we've been able to open those parks up. Just to show you, and you can imagine the benefit to rural Utah, our tourism and travel, what swirls around those national parks and treasures and Lake Powell, and particularly when more than half of the people that come there are international visitors, or non-English speakers. So it's a big economic issue. And the fact of the matter is we had this afternoon at Bryce Canyon as an example, 471 cars and buses lined up at 3 o'clock to get into that park today, which is now open. Anyway, following your example, that's what I'm doing, and I know if I do that, we're going to have great success in Utah. We pride ourselves on being a business-friendly environment. So congratulations to you, to the Technology Council, to our honored guests and those who are receiving recognition tonight. We applaud your efforts and welcome everybody. Let me just mention a couple of things if I could. I do thank you and the Technology Council for the work you've done in helping foster the growth in our business community, the technology industry, where we have 5,700 technology companies now that call Utah home, and creating the most tech-savvy environment, the most tech-savvy educated workforce in the United States. And that goes to many of the efforts of you here in this room. Let me just give you a couple of examples of we've created this fertile field. I just talked to Shantanu here, and again, recognizing the great addition Adobe has been to our state and this business-friendly environment. But a couple of examples. Our state's IT and life science sectors today together employ roughly 75,500 people with salaries between 48% and 70% higher than the average Utah wage. That's a 4.8% increase since 2011, our last information. So a lot of jobs and high-paying jobs. Utah's IT sector pays Utahns roughly $3.3 billion per year in wages, and our life science sector adds another about 1.6 plus billion. So nearly $5 billion in salaries and wages to the people of Utah. Our IT and life science clusters have helped make Utah, get this, the 6th now most diverse economy in America. We're broad in our base. We don't have all of our eggs in one basket like some states do. So again, as we expand, this is great news for us for a healthy economy going forward. There's a lot of positive development in the industry recently. I'll just, for the sake of time, name two. Merit Medical here just a week ago opened up their new $60 million state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in South Jordan, adding hundreds of new jobs to their operation. BlackRock Microsystems recently opened its new headquarters at the University of Utah Research Park. I know Dr. Pershing's pleased with that. And as also happened yesterday, an announcement at the University of Utah's College of Engineering announced an approval of its new undergraduate certificate program in data center engineering, designed to help those involved in data centers, such companies as Oracle, eBay, Goldman Sachs, and others, they be prepared. And that's kind of a nice segue into my last point, and that is the importance of our educational system. Again, thanks to the business community, more than ever before, there's an emphasis on education. And it's been my number one top budget priority. We recognize in our office that if we don't have the skills and the labor force, that we will slow down the economic opportunity we have in this great state. If we're going to have long-term sustained economic growth, we've got to have the skilled labor force skills necessary to compete in what is now a global marketplace. You know that as movers and shakers better than anybody I would ever speak to. I'm a little concerned about a study that came out this past week called the International Assessment of Adult Competencies that found that adult Americans now are falling short of the key skills necessary to compete in the global marketplace in such areas as math, reading, problem-solving skills using technology. That's unfortunate. In fact, that should cause us all pause. It poses a threat to our nation's economy and I think by extension to the national security interests that we have here as a country. I'm pleased to say that Utah is proactive. We're on cutting edge. We are trying to do what we need to do to raise the bar. Hence, because of the help of many here, we have a goal in Utah bringing us together as a united effort to raise the bar when it comes to educational achievement. We call it 66 by 2020, meaning that 2/3 of our adult population by the year 2020 will have at least some kind of post-high school certificate, associate degree, or full degree, moving on to even advanced degrees. If we raise, yeah, that's worth an applause. We want to create today the labor force with the skills that you're going to need tomorrow. We know that if we do that, this is going to be not just a nice place to do business, but this will be the place to do business. Business people and entrepreneurs will want to be here because of the skilled labor force. And again, I appreciate the fact that we're pulling together, but we're putting the emphasis on more money. We've been able to increase education funding in the last 2 years, including over $300 million of new money just this year alone. We're also working to align curriculum so that the skills being taught in schools line up with the demands of the marketplace, the demands that you need, which means we've had a shift and a renewed emphasis on our science, technology, engineering, and math programs, our STEM. We've got students here that represent that effort. We're investing in that. And guess what? It's paying dividends. We already see the results of this efforts. For example, our public school participation now in advanced placement courses is at a record high. We've increased by 8% those who are involved in AP courses, and our skills, our outcomes of those are on those exams have risen by 7%. Our student success ratio in Utah is at 67.4%. The national average is about 57%, so over 10.5% higher achievement scores in AP here in the state of Utah. With our concurrent enrollment, we are embracing new technologies, new opportunities to be more efficient. Just like you would do in business to find better market shares, more efficiencies, and improving better outcomes, we're doing the same thing with education now. And here's an example. We have a high school down at SUU, Southern Utah University in Cedar City, called Success Early College High School. 93% of those graduating from that high school not only leave with a high school diploma, but also with an associate degree. That's efficiency in action as we see those efforts. So, thank you. Well, let me just conclude by saying this. We still have a ways to go. It's not time to rest on our laurels. We have some momentum. We have opportunity. We are leading the nation in so many different ways. It's a pleasure and an honor to be the governor of this great state. At the end of the day, what we talk about here, even as we honor people and we talk about the business success out there, it's about people. What are we doing in our respective roles in this state to improve the lives of people? Some of the products, the technology, what you produce are improving people's lives. Some it's making their lives better, quality, longevity, better health. And in doing so, we have improved opportunities to provide jobs and economic opportunity. As we work together in this state, we're having outstanding success. It is actually just a little bit counter to what we see in Washington, D.C. So I thank you for your efforts, for what you're doing to make Utah a great place to live, to raise a family, and #1 place in America to do business. Thank you very much.